I always try to sneak that in there on you.
You've got pretty quick reflexes, you know?
Yeah, I've got this whole thing wired up so I can just, fire that off. What I need is like a whammy button. Just
Yep.
different sound effects and all that
Eye
good
control, something.
stuff. Paul, I think today's it might be a good day. I'm sure people are very thrilled to keep talking about this. I think I'm getting close to winning the battle against PDF exportation from LeanPub and getting it into a print-ready format. And
Yep.
I'm waiting for a PDF cover from our design shop up in New York City, which should hopefully be arriving soon. Then I'm going to blast that onto the tool and get this thing sent off to the printers for a proof.
The thing you're using to do this, is it a LeanPub tool or?
Yeah, so I'm going to do a big long write-up about how I wrote this book and everything that's going on. I will tell you this. So, as Paul knows, the way the tool works is you open Google Docs and there's a document for each chapter, right? There's 26 documents. What this tool does is it's an add-on for Google Docs. You hit preview or whatever rendering, and it creates and it smashes all these documents together and creates a PDF, an EPUB, and a .mobi file, Mobi. It exports those files. All sounds good in the hood, except the smashing together part doesn't work so well, and there's rendering issues such as problems with inconsistent subtext below images. There's issues with sometimes the images are just in the wrong place.
I think these are markdown formatting problems, but yeah, it's a hellscape.
Yeah. But the moral of the story here is I have sweared up and down. I've emailed. I've opened like 75 different tickets, and they say yes, we're aware of the issue. I'm like, okay, but I need the issue fixed.
Yeah,
this thing is,
don't hold your breath on that. The LeanPub is great for a lot of reasons, and we switched to it for very good reasons. Because before that, on our book, we were doing everything ourselves. That includes like customer support and billing, and manual generation of all those document types. But man, it's astonishing. I mean, I'm probably closing in on 2 years, not 3 years. Was it 3 years? It might be even 3 years on this book, and whatever number of years. This stuff has really never materially improved, and it's astonishing to me that you write words and then you publish those words in some format. Like, this is not a solution. This has been solved.
Yeah.
And it's still really kind of archaic and weird the way they do it. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, the big pain in the ass is because I don't trust the PDF exporting tool enough, because you hit it once, and like the picture of Panos that's supposed to be in chapter 26 ends up in 13, and you're like, and so then it's
different sizes.
I'm not even kidding. It's like rolling the dice every time you hit export, whether or not you're going to get it. But I think I'm getting to a very close point where I think I'm mostly happy. The digital version still has a couple hiccups, which I got to figure out, but I got to get this print version done because my mother's chewing down not chewing down. My mother wants a whole bunch of copies, and I can't let mom down. And
well, I'm sure she's used to you letting her down by now, but
wow.
The problems you're describing are familiar to me.
Yeah. So, but I think I have about won the war of attrition over this, and the headwinds have prevailed. I have one final subcaption. The issue is now, and I don't think this is necessarily a LeanPub problem per se, is that the image is at the bottom of one page and the subcaption gets kicked over to the top of the next page.
Yep.
So I got to go shrink the image just a little bit.
No, it's the manual things.
Yep.
You should be able to tie those things together so that they go to one page or the other as a group.
Yeah.
And
at this point, I'm beyond that, and here we are.
Yeah, the way I do a like they call it a subset publish or whatever, like a preview, and I do that typically of just the chapter I'm working on because of this problem. It's and I have a lot of screenshots in the book, so it's particularly problematic. But you can kind of fix it on the local level, and then you put it into the big thing, and you do the whole publish, which in my case takes forever. Like, it's astonishing how long it takes to publish the book. And then you go through it, and you find a mistake, and you're like, I got to do the whole thing again. You know, and that's going to be the problem you have going forward because, you know, someday someone's going to read it and say, hey, by the way, on page whatever, there's a spelling mistake or whatever it is. And you're going to go back and you're going to make this minor change, add a comma or something.
Yep.
And it's going to have this like cascading effect across the back of the book, which you won't realize till the next day when someone else writes you and says, hey, by the way, you know, the pitches are all different sizes now or something or whatever it is. You know?
Yeah. Paul, you'll appreciate this. I've given the book out to a couple of people who may or may not review it. I have no idea, but they've got it. Okay. And one such person is Todd Bishop. And Paul, you're gonna laugh at this. He did find a spelling mistake, if you will, in 2 spots. Of all the things to spell wrong in the book, we spelled Wagner Edstrom wrong.
Yeah, and didn't notice. Yeah, like Wagner Edstrom. Yeah, I can see that.
Yep, that's the only thing that he's called that, and he was mostly.
And it was in there twice.
Yep.
It's better than I thought you were going to say it was my name or something.
No. It's the PR firm that we deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah, interesting.
And other things that don't involve Brad looking at PDFs. Microsoft and Apple are basically neck and neck, and market cap people are losing their minds over this. I guess it's relatively significant because they're on the path to become the most valuable company in the U.S. They're roughly tied around somewhere between 815 and 820 billion in market cap. But
yeah. You know, I not to be a jerk about it, but Microsoft's market gains under Satya Nadella, I don't think are all that deserved. Like compared to the previous 15 years, but you know, whatever. The market is what it is. It's black magic. But in this case in particular, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, most of this is because Apple has fallen,
right?
Not because Microsoft has suddenly gained. I mean, and you know, there were these 4 high-tech companies: Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google, that were all kind of in the orbit of, you know, maybe going to hit $1 trillion at some point. Apple was probably going to be first, and of course they were. And then we've had the financial issues of the past, 30 days or whatever it's been. Which, you know, is nice because it's pushed up my retirement by at least 2 years, and I really appreciate that. Hopefully, there'll be a rebound at some point, maybe in 2020 or so. Anywho, yeah. So it's, you know, celebrate it, you know. And of course, when I hear this, what I really think of is the Steve Jobs quote from when he took Microsoft's investment in the company. I think it was 1998. And, you know, he said, you know, before Bill Gates came on stage like Big Brother in Boston, he said, you know, we have to get over this notion that for Apple to win, Microsoft has to lose. Right now, today we can reverse that. And actually, as it turns out, Apple has to lose. And there's a huge benefit there to Microsoft. So that actually kind of worked out.
Yeah. I mean, it's a thing. Apple still makes more money in revenue. So, you know, you got that. I think.
Yeah, by a wide margin. Apple's iPhone business is bigger than all of Microsoft combined, you know.
Yep.
You can look at it all kinds of different ways. It's really, you learn a lot about people by the way they react to things like this, right? Because there's kind of the Microsoft fan base, and they're all like, you know, excited. Anything bad that happens to Apple is awesome for them, you know. And then you have like the Apple guys, and like it's really classic. It's always like, well, yeah, but Apple has like $127 billion in cash, you know, whatever it is. And it's like, yeah, that's great. That has nothing to do with what that's yeah, it was really successful. We get that. This is not about that. This is a different metric. But you know, the people kind of circle the wagons in their own ways around the things they care about for whatever reason. And you know, you see a lot of that stuff. It was like the monopoly story I wrote about Apple yesterday. You know, it's like as a company, I'm actually not a big fan of Apple. Their products are incredible, especially their hardware products. But as far as like their executives and the way they promote themselves, it's gross to me. I've always hated it. And but you know, I don't celebrate their defeat in any way. Not that this is necessarily a defeat, but they're also not a monopoly. Just because like people are like, I just hate Apple. I just want the you know, some federal authority to come down on them for something. It's like, well, you can't just invent something. You know, they're not a monopoly in any way.
Yeah, if I was going to knock a company off, I don't think Apple would be it. Like if I could, I think Facebook would be pretty high up there. I think that would be a net gain for society.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't think many people disagree with it.
It's just, and Facebook, is such a great example of something we see a lot in the tech space because we cover the tech space. But this thing that was started, it's a good idea. The fundamental thing of it, the notion that you're going to keep up with people that you care about and stuff is it's hard to complain about, but it is a simmering cesspool of political and insular nonsense. And there's something just terrible about Facebook. I forwarded a thing that my dad had written on Facebook. My father, by the way, is awesome on Facebook. He has this habit of he'll post just to Facebook. He'll write "Happy Birthday," so someone he knows is celebrating a birthday, and rather than put it on that person's page or wall or whatever you call it, because he has no idea how that works, writes "Happy Birthday." So every time he does, I just take a picture of it. I send it to my sisters, and I'm like, "Dad wins Facebook again." But one of my sisters told me yesterday, I think, or the day before, she's like, "Actually, I don't even go on Facebook anymore, so I would never see this." I said, "That's fine. I'll text you everything I see on Facebook. It'll be fun."
Yeah, actually, you reminded me of something. My father-in-law called me last night at, I don't know, 6:30 or 7 or whatever. First off, I answered the call like kind of cautiously because 90% of the time he calls me, it's an accidental butt dial or whatever.
Yep.
But he was at Best Buy. And he called me.
Right.
And their TV died. Like the panel went out, and for whatever reason, he called a TV repairman. I didn't even know this thing still existed. And he was quoted like $250 to fix the TV. And I was like, his name is Dave. I was like, Dave, you can go get a new TV for like $300-400. And he's like, yeah, that's why I'm here. And he goes, I have some questions. I'm like, great. And it kind of ran me down this like little checklist of crap that you do on a TV that you don't want or need. He goes, do I need a curved TV? And I said, no, you do not. He said, do I need apps on my TV? I said, no, you do not. You'd be better off buying a Chromecast, a Fire Stick, or an Apple TV. You'll get a better product. And he goes, do I need 4K? And I said, yeah, you want to get a 4K. But you want to get like the most vanilla 4K TV you can. I said, you don't need anything higher than 60 hertz, so don't pay for 120 hertz because you're going to turn it off. I know because I turned it off on the TV he has currently.
I mean, make sure the HDMI ports are gold because that's better.
And it just ran down the laundry list of just crap that they add onto TVs that you don't, all you want. I don't even want a TV tuner in my TV anymore. I just want a large computer monitor.
I know. That's exactly right. Yeah,
because I'm going to hook an Apple TV up to it and an external.
I don't want
tuner.
Another entry in the menu. That I'm, there's a thing called TV.
Yeah,
and you go to it and it's just like static.
Like
that shouldn't even be there.
So he ended up paying, I think $500 or so, and he got a Samsung, like a 65-inch 4K Samsung TV with HDR. And I'm like, Dave, that's more than you'll ever need. And I said, if you want to spend money on a TV, here's what you do. You buy that TV, then you walk over to the little Sonos section over there and buy like a sound bar or from Sonos or Bose or whoever you want. And you'll get more value out of that than the stupid apps or curvedness.
Did your dad try to get upsold by someone at Best Buy?
No,
I
don't.
Upsell, I don't mean like to a better TV necessarily, but to the other shit. Like
no,
you need
like
a line filter, to make sure that whatever's coming into this is as clean as possible. My parents bought a TV. This is several years ago, but they bought a flat screen TV of some kind, and I came over. Whatever, my mother can't figure anything out. Obviously, it's like a remote with all these things, and she's like, I can't figure out the TV, and I'm like, what is all this crap under the TV? What is this stuff? And it was like an amplifier and a line filter. I think they called it. It was like something that cleaned the signal or something. And so I was like, yeah, okay. So I just I plugged everything and I put everything back without all that stuff. And I'm like, take this stuff back to Best Buy because you don't need it. And this is how your remote works. And they just my parents don't. They're not technical. They didn't think to call me for some reason. And they just ended up with all this extra crap. It was probably like $600 worth of stuff. Stupid.
Yeah. So I don't know if he got upsold on anything like that. I don't think so. I only talked to him while he was standing there looking at it. He just saw like curved TV, Super HD, Quantum Dot. Oh, the other one was too. He said, "Do I need an OLED TV?" And I said, "No." He said, "Yeah, there are a lot more." And I said, "Well, the only time you ever notice the difference between an OLED and an LED TV is right now on that show floor.
Just run there next to each other."
When you go home, you will never look at your TV and think, "Man, I wish those blacks were 10% darker." It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like the iPhone XR versus the 10R versus the 10s. You know, 10s is OLED. And it's beautiful. There's no doubt about it. But the 10R screen is gorgeous too.
Yeah.
You would really not notice anything about it unless you put it next to the other one. Then you're like, okay, actually the bezels are a little bigger because it needs backlighting, and yeah, okay, it's the darks are a little darker, you know. But yeah, day to day, my God, saves $250.
Yeah, the interesting conversation, I don't know if we've talked about this or not or whatever, I had with my wife is I said, hey, would you rather have the new iPhone? She's on my old iPhone 7 now, or the new Apple Watch. And she wanted a watch. She wants a watch rather than a new phone.
Yeah, like that would benefit her more.
Yeah, in day to day, mostly because she's very active at the gym and all that. And I think she has a Series 2, so she'd be going from a 2 to a 4.
Everyone has like what I think of as like a matrix of needs and wants that they kind of go into a decision like that, you know. And you know, if you're just stupid and you're rich, you can just keep buying stuff. It doesn't matter. But for the rest of us normal people, you know, you have to kind of factor in all these different things. And you know, for me, obviously, it's always been that kind of Project Fi camera quality. It kind of skews everything in a weird direction, which I think is something that doesn't, you know, impact most people. And I just wrote this thing about, you know, people are holding on to smartphones longer than ever before, but or at least in recent years. You could make a really good case. Like you held on your phone, what, 3 years? I think it was.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good decision, you know, on so many levels. And I think for a while, like you can kind of justify any purpose, but, you know, any purchase rather. You know, I use this thing every day, blah, 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 whatever it is. But, you know, I after evaluating almost, you know, 8 or 9 phones or whatever it was, I mean, I am using the phone I came into this with. And I probably spent a couple $100 here or there with, you know, restocking fees and everything, sending stuff back. But it was kind of an interesting exercise because, you know, for the things that are important to me, like your wife, it's, you know, the fitness stuff with the watch. I mean, for me, it's the camera the phone I would most likely upgrade to has too many problems. I just don't feel right about it.
Yeah.
Like I'm afraid of it. And this one the one I have now hasn't had any problems, but these phones have absolutely had problems, as you know. So it's kind of like a devil I know kind of a thing. And who knows, maybe in next week or, you know, January or whatever, the USB port gets a little wiggly or something, and then I have a decision to make. But for now, I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy a new case, and it's going to feel like a new phone, and it does.
Yeah, it really does.
And it's kind of goofy, you know, how something like that helps.
I always tell people if they kind of want to upgrade their computer, but they don't want to buy a whole new one, buy a new monitor.
Yeah, right.
Buy a larger, glossier, whatever monitor, and it'll feel like a brand new machine.
Yeah, for sure.
So, you got I don't know, there's a whole bunch of not much going on, but I have so much to do today to finish this PDF thing.
Yeah. Yep. I don't have to do anything like that, so that's good.
Great.
Yeah, enjoy that.
Yep.
Well, you'll be happy when it's done.
You should be getting snow right about now.
No, we're not getting snow, thank God.
You're not? It's snowing here.
No, it is cold, though. Is it really snowing there?
Yeah, I mean, not... There's maybe a ½ inch.
Oh. No, we're not. I don't believe we're getting anything like that. Let me just make sure. Yeah, no. We're looking at rain maybe over the weekend.
Well, lucky you.
It's been blustery.
So, all right, folks. So that wraps it up for today. We should be back here tomorrow, provided it doesn't, I don't know, snow or something. Whatever. Have yourselves a wonderful Tuesday, and we'll see you on Wednesday.